We are back in Promontory Decking headquarters. This is episode 10. I'm going to kind of start on a personal note. I've been trying to record this episode for like an hour now. And I keep getting interrupted by my son. He's 3. He'll be 4 in October. And he just always wants to hang out with daddy. And it's pretty rare for me to be home during the week this time. And so he's interested in hanging out in my shop and playing with the microphone, touching all the tools. And I love doing that. But I guess this first part of this episode, I'm just going to kind of touch on the balance of being a dad and a good husband and trying to build something that I'm obsessed with. And it's just tough for me to find patience sometimes. And I think I'm growing, but there's always new challenges, new phases that he goes through, that we go through, that make life is hard. Parenting is hard. Starting a business is hard. And, I struggle sometimes, trying to keep my emotions in check. Like, for instance, I just snapped. I just said, Daddy's got to record this episode like it's the end of the world if I don't. And all he wants to do is show me his nails that he just painted, that his mom just painted. But I'm trying to stay really focused here and establish some boundaries that this is daddy's work time. And I don't need to say it 10 times that I need to be left alone for a little bit. And it kind of punches me in the stomach when I have to snap at him. When I have to tell him things over and over and over again. And I need to be better about keeping my emotions in check. I think that also trickles down to the job site. If mistakes get made, client does something that rubs you the wrong way or whatever. Trying to remain on an even keel throughout it all. It's difficult to do, and I'm still learning. I don't think I'll ever stop learning that. But I don't feel very good about how I interacted with my kiddo there a couple minutes ago, and I really need to. I need to be better, be a better dad. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit today about marketing and all the questions that I have and the thought process I'm going through when I'm trying to spend the very little amount of money I have on marketing and advertising. I know that there's 1,000 different ways to skin this cat, but I know that I'm trying to kind of find my own lane and my own way of doing things compared to a lot of other contractors or deck builders out there. And one thing I'm a little worried about is spending money on Facebook ads or YouTube ads, or I just don't quite know what is the smartest way to allocate those funds. And then what's going to get us the most traction? What is going to take us to the clients that want the high-end decks, that want the premium materials and the little details folded ends on your PVC deck boards and, curves and radiuses in your deck design and low voltage lighting, all the things that, take just an outdoor deck and then they elevate it to like an outdoor living area. Those are the kind of jobs that we're trying to take on and go after. And how do I get the right message out to the right people? And one of the main things that I'm going to try and do next is make up some cards, some business cards, and some little flyers. And I want to go and lean on some of the relationships I've made at some of the yards, and kind of try and, hey guys, when someone comes in here looking for something, send them my way, because I know that a lot of the friends that I've made at some of the lumber yards will do that for me. And another thing is, I've had Trex reach out about like being a pro, like a Trex installer. And I've also like had some preliminary conversations with the folks at TimberTech. And I'm a little nervous about being contractually obligated to using one product. But I do want to narrow down my focus to 1 or 2 or 3 products that we exclusively use. And, maybe that's an avenue that we can go down and we can try and explore, is reaching out to some of the reps at the suppliers and trying to build some relationships there. Another thing that's going on today is there's a lady named April, and she runs this company called Deck Builder Marketers. We Love Deck Builders is like her podcast or something. And, I've kind of watched her from afar for a couple years, kept up on her socials and just checked out the events and the interviews that she does and the people that she talks to. And, I'm always really weary about spending money on marketing agencies. Please keep in mind that, like, when I was in the band, I dealt with a couple different marketing agencies. Not like I have a big understanding of how they work and operate, but it was expensive. And I remember feeling at that time in the band that I was like, well, everything that you're doing, we can do. We just got to figure out how to do it, right? So, and that's kind of been my philosophy about everything, whether it's video production, whether it's marketing, whether it's connections. I mean, even down to like looking at something and being like, I could build that. I've never built it before, but knowing like I could build that. I could build it really well. So I kind of want to figure out, and I need some help with this. Like, anybody who wants to chime in might have some good ideas. I'd appreciate a comment or two or something in the section in our comment section, and pick your brain a little bit about what's the best way to do the marketing part of it, So tonight there's an event happening in Carlsbad with April from this Deck Builder Marketers, and I know about it because of her Instagram, and I'm planning on going there and having dinner. I want to listen if there's any keynote speakers or meet some of the reps. This is all like a deck building industry. It's actually like a NADRA event, North American Deck and Railing Association, and they hold like build competitions and conventions, and they're a big network of like really pro installers, and all the stuff that they showcase is like beautiful work. And they, if you're in the network and you are doing really good work out there and you're associated and entering in the competitions of NADRA and stuff, then your name is getting out and about and you're gaining some recognition within the industry. So I'm really excited to go to this event tonight. And I don't really have any major expectations, but I want to just go there and be myself, talk passionately about what I'm trying to do here, and see what kind of connections I can make. You know, there'll be other builders there, representatives from different manufacturers, and NADRA, you know, associates and stuff like that. So, this is where this is where my expertise is not. I don't know exactly how to market a business. Heck, I don't even know how to run a business. But I'm stubborn and I will figure it out. And I plan on learning a little bit every single day. But so a couple things that I need to do this week. I need to go to this event tonight. I need to continue working on this 3D render of the sauna structure. I figured out that it's a hip roof, so it's going to have 4 sides. I don't quite understand the pitch, the rise and the run, the pitch of the roof. So I need to go back to my original client's house and measure their roof and try and deduce how I'm going to do that for the pitch on this one. I got some really good news about the La Jolla job. I sent them a message this morning and I said, hey, I know it's been a couple days and I'm just going to assume that you've gone in a different direction, and keep me in mind if anything changes or plans fall through. But I'd love to hear back from you. And she sent me a message back that said, hey, the deck is just kind of on a back burner. We have the homeowner's birthday this week, but trust me, we have not lost sight of this project, and we appreciate your thoroughness. And it was kind of a nice message to get, because it makes it feel like that La Jolla job is still out there and still might be on our plate. But of course, I've got to harbor my expectations, harness, however you'd say that. I have to keep those expectations low, because I've got to focus on what I've got going on today. And if that ever comes to fruition, then fantastic. We're going to knock it out the park. But right now, I think my biggest concern is figuring out how I'm going to market this business and how to start getting this calendar filled with some contracts. I've come this far already, and putting all the pieces together now that the business is all talking on social media and really trying to tighten up the admin side of the business. We need that schedule filling up. So, yeah. Here's the topic of this episode is that Ethan doesn't really know how to market his own business. That's it. Thanks for paying attention. We'll figure it out. I'll have some updates on the next one. So thank you for spending your time with me, and I appreciate you paying attention.